The death of over 77 people in that Johannesburg fire in September has spurred government into action. Public Works Minister Lethiwe Mdluli has come up with Operation Bring Back. It's a campaign that aims to reclaim illegally occupied buildings and bring them back under government control. Thousands of public buildings across the country have fallen into the hands of hijackers, leaving most of them in a bad state. eNCA's Lethiwe Mdluli reports.
The Department of Public Works and Infrastructure descended into KwaZulu-Natal to address hijacked and abandoned buildings in the Durban CBD. Minister Lethiwe Mdluli says his department plans to include everyone involved in the property sector to address some of the problems they are facing. These challenges include vacant and illegally occupied properties which run into the thousands, monopoly in leasing, and the lack of revenue generation of state-owned buildings. When asked why the issue of hijacked buildings has not been resolved, Mdluli chose to look ahead, saying they have come up with a new program with the police to sort out the matter once and for all.
This is the campaign we are embarking on together with law enforcement agencies, which include the NPA, Asset for Future Unit, the SIU. The number of land that have been sold to private individuals illegally. There are also those parcels that are occupied, and we want all of them to get back to the government.
During the property conference, Mdluli encouraged partnerships between the private sector and government. He says that the department is highly dependent on the private sector leasing their buildings.
We are a department that is highly dependent on lease from the private sector. And that's one reason why we are here. It is because we want to alter that status quo and have a balance between the lease and the properties that are owned by the government, but in partnership with the private sector.
Meanwhile, emerging property developers say they often face barriers to access the industry.
As obviously the previously disadvantaged, we still struggle with owning properties and owning land. You find that there are opportunities that the government offer where they say, we want to work with the private sector, but there's only a very few selected people who are able to offer those services, so we get left behind.
CEO of the Property Sector Charter Council says that the issue of hijacked buildings reflects societal problems and the desperate need for housing.
People are getting desperate. I mean, and at the bottom and at the rock bottom of the issues that we have, poverty, unemployment, and inequality are key. The fact that people are desperate, don't have where they are staying, they end up staying just literally anywhere where they could find a roof over their head. So at the rock bottom of everything else is the challenges that we always talk about in South Africa that we all need to sort out.
Lethiwe Mdluli, Durban.